Okay, the commission meeting of Monday, August 10th, 2026 will be called to order. It's 4 p.m. and there were three commissioners present in the room. No, two commissioners in the room, myself and Commissioner Hanson. Two commissioners are online, Commissioner Toonvas and Commissioner Montana. And we understand that Commissioner Unseld will be joining us within the next 5 minutes or so. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Monday, August 10th Commission meeting of the Port of Olympia. We have a hybrid meeting today with two commissioners here at the beautiful city of Tenino City Hall. Two commissioners virtually online, and one commissioner Unseld will be joining us shortly. And we have a full agenda today and some people to welcome. And so with that, I will finish calling the meeting to order and invite Commissioner Hanson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanson. We have Mike Reed standing in as Executive Director today. Would you please give us your Executive Director?
Yes. Yes, thank you very much. Hold up onto the screen. Before I start, we have a new person working for the Port of Olympia. On my left is the Port's new in-house counsel, Megan Lynn. Say hello. Hello.
Hello, I'm Megan Lynn, as he said. I'm a resident of Olympia and very excited to serve the Port of Olympia.
All right. Well, let's kick into, can we share?
It's sharing.
Oh, it's sharing on there. Okay, wonderful. So first things first, last Friday, we had the summer nights at the port. Thank you, Commissioner Vasavana, for providing the opening remarks at the event. We had the 90s Rewind, which is a 90s cover band, perform out there. We had about 500 or 600 folks come and join us on the waterfront out at the North Point. These concerts are always a lot of fun that we do. And this is to remind folks, the waterfront in downtown Olympia, it's the county's waterfront. Please come and enjoy. That's why we program it for concerts, events, and activities during the summer. That was the last concert for the summer that the port puts on, but we will also out there will be the South Sound Block Party, which is a ticketed event, but they have a great lineup, 2-day music festival on August 29th and 30th. We also, next slide, Olympia Downtown Alliance hosted Music in the Park at the Port Plaza last week, or the week before that as well. This is part of their 45th anniversary season that they've been putting on these Music in the Plaza programs. Our staff, just wanted to thank our staff for being there in attendance. We always have a booth at that for folks who want to come by, ask questions, or learn about what the port is, but then also just enjoy a great summer night listening to music on the waterfront. And a thank you to Commissioner Montana for attending and providing opening remarks at that event. We hosted, next slide. We host a series of marine terminal tours. We invite folks to sign up for those to discover a working waterfront. Last week, we hosted our 4th out of 5 free public marine terminal tours for the year. We had a group of about 18 community members join us on Tuesday to learn more about the port, gain insights about the marine terminal operations. Just earlier today, we had a group of 15 residents from Panorama Retirement Community also come and take a tour of the working waterfront. These tours remain one of our most valuable outreach efforts because of the relational in-person connections that they create with the community. And thank you again to our warehouse or attendant. They also joined and provide some insights into their operations during the tour. You can find more information about signing up or attending more tours on our website. Next slide. This is just some of our staff. This is an effort that we have just to build some staff camaraderie and morale. We do a series of potlucks over the course of the year. And we had one last week. We called it Sunshine and Sweets. It was a sort of a cakewalk bakery event. It was a great time. Just showing off a little of the staff love. We've referenced this before, but always worthwhile to note this while the application process is open. But We did have the City of Olympia's Heritage Commission approved the delisting of the Sandman Historic Tug and endorsed the port's plan to carefully dismantle and preserve it in partnership with the Historic Maritime Foundation. Unfortunately, the vessel reached a point in which preservation of it in its full form or attempting to get it back in the water, we sort of passed that point with it. For organizations that are interested in participating, they can apply to get any of the artifacts that we've carefully removed from the Sandman and have them for display. So we could see any sort of nonprofit that wants to do it, a historic society, or even some of the restaurants along the waterfront that would like to host some of those artifacts. They need to apply by August 15th, and we will review those and make decisions on ultimately how we distribute those artifacts. Next slide. This Friday, the port is looking forward to participating in the 2026 Festival of State Chats, celebrating the cultural and ecological restoration of the Deschutes Estuary. Commissioner Montano and port staff will be volunteering in our booth, so please stop by and say hello. More information can be found online about that. And then finally, with both grace and friendship, and I'm really just hoping for the best for him. Our great Sean Gilbertson, our environmental program and planning director, has given notice that he's going on to another great opportunity. He'll be the public works director at the city of Shelton, and we really wish him well. He's done an incredible body of work for this organization during his time here. So just wanted to wish him the very best on his journeys, and we'll miss him dearly, but we're very proud to send him off. And his last day will be August 14th. And then final slide, we always value public input. Public comments can be made at commission meetings, town hall. We have then direct calls to our main line, which is 360-528-8000. There's our email. And then we do provide port tours. We can offer speaking environment or speaking opportunities for port staff. If you need them, you can request a speaker on our website, and you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mike. And just a point of personal privilege, I want to thank Sean Gilbertson. He really helped our director, Alex Smith, stabilize the port during the last 2 years and put us on a steady trajectory where we are absolutely moving forward with the Bud Bay sediment cleanup. It's not just an aspiration. So thank you, Sean, for your service there.
Michael.
Read button.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Terrific. And with that, before we transition to public comment, I just want to remind folks that here in the beautiful city of Tenino, we aspire to be kind and to make comments that are directed to the policy or the commission as a whole, but are not calling out specific individual staff or members of the public. Be courteous, be friendly, and teach us some things. And with that, we have some folks signed up to give comment. I believe they're all online. So I will start with Jan Witt, hailing from zip code 98501. Ms. Witt, can you hear me?
Have to do it.
Having a remote meeting is a way to virtually haze our IT staff.
And we're in a different. User. She's on twice.
Would you, let's unmute Commissioner Montano and see if she's able to speak to us.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes, very well. Thank you, Commissioner Montano.
Great. It does look like there's some sort of technical difficulty with Janet Witt. I see her listed twice now.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe if she-
Commissioner Tubas, are you able to hear and speak?
I am, yes. And I think Janet just unmuted.
All right, Ms. Witt? Ms. Witt, we're going to return back to you. I assure you, I'm going to call John Cezanne and see if he's able to speak.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, but I think you're Ms. Witt, correct?
Okay, I'm getting echoes from my end. Are you hearing me clearly?
We hear you clearly. Thank you.
Okay. Several months later, the port signed the lease with Swire for 95 acres within the
Ms. Witt?
130 acre CRG area.
Ms. Witt?
As you know, Swire has pulled out of that lease agreement. There are now serious concerns regarding the CRG option to lease. Number one, the CRG lease option cedes local control regarding types of use of a huge portion of airport public land to a private real estate developer, as long as the uses comply with Tumwater Code's long list of allowed uses. The lease option refers to this as, quote, exclusive control given to CRG. Two, the agreement doesn't stop at 130 acres. It states that the port will also give CRG special rights to add additional adjacent acres to the option to lease property. Three, the option to lease refers repeatedly to CRG's option to develop the land in phases. In other words, piecemeal development will be allowed, in which environmental review of numerous leases may be conducted separately, thus avoiding assessment of cumulative impacts of development of the entire area. In short, the CRG lease option document reads like something written for developers by developers. Four, the lease option document indicates that once the ground lease within the CRG area is agreed upon, then the portion of the option property that comprises that lease will no longer be considered option property and will not be subject to terms of the lease option. The Swire lease was fully executed. It therefore follows that the 95-acre Swire lease area was deleted from the CRG lease option years ago. However, according to a recent Olympian article, Warren Hendrickson stated that the port will go back to CRG and see if they are still interested in an option to lease. So one question is, who determined that the port should now give CRG an option to re-enter the option to lease agreement? Any development of airport land has potential for serious adverse direct and indirect environmental impacts. The CRG option to lease was approved by only 2 port commissioners, neither of whom are on the current port commission. Commissioners, please insist that you be involved in any decisions pertaining to the CR lease option. Please seek interpretation of the CRG agreement wording by attorneys other than those who may have been directed to defend a decision to renew the CRG lease option. And please direct port staff to hold a public meeting pertaining to this issue, one with opportunity for broad community discussion and input. Thank you for this opportunity to comment.
Thank you, Ms. Witt. We heard you loud and clear. John Cezanne, CRG proposal.
Hi, commissioners. So yeah, Jan pretty much covered most of the things I was going to talk about, but I'll also add a few things to that. First, I was happy that Swire backed out because I was opposed originally to the Swire deal. I thought there was a lot of environmental concerns, and a lot of the current commission, I think, agreed with me at the time, but I don't know what their current attitude is about development out there. But I'm hoping that we can find environmentally sound ways to develop that property. A lot of people, I think if the CRG people were to have the opportunity to develop that area, it would probably go to logistics types of operations. And that in turn would probably lead to more traffic at the airport, which I think that you've heard before from the community is not very popular. People aren't happy about it. They don't want to see increased traffic at the airport. That's a fact. So I don't know that. And the other thing that concerns me is that that staff brought this before the commission like it was already a done deal, even though it's a completely different commission now and circumstances have changed. So I think there should be some kind of public discussion about this before, with the community and the commissioners to find out, where we want to go. So before we forge ahead and ink another, lease deal. So anyway, those are my comments. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mr. Cezanne. We have Joel Carlson. Not wishing to speak. Okay.
Yes, I will put them next to them if they have comments.
Oh, I see. So that was the last of our people signed up for comment. Thank you so much today. And with that, is there any commission response? I have a quick response that I believe when we were updated at the commission meeting last week about the termination of the Swire lease, we didn't have yet full information about sort of the former lease to CRG and how it gets resurrected and its extent. We have a new attorney on staff, and so I'm sure we'll be working with her in the weeks to come to understand more deeply that lease. And once we do, I'm sure there will be a public update. So thank you so much for that testimony today. With that, we are so happy to be in the city of Tenino, and our friend, Mayor David Watterson, who usually makes the trek all the way up to Olympia, is here to give us a partner spotlight about the city in which we find ourselves.
Well, thank you. First, I just want to say thank you for taking the time and the effort to come down to Tenino. I know it takes a lot of effort to bring all this equipment and get you set up. So we appreciate you being here. I know there's not a lot of the public here, but I think it's important for them to know that you recognize Tenino is a small rural town, and I'm sure they appreciate you being here and taking time to hear about us and what's going on. So again, thank you to you and all the staff here today for attending. I appreciate it a lot. I don't have any really prepared remarks, but I'm just going to kind of start talking about things I know the board's directly involved in. But I'll start with the Ag Park. That's been a big one that you've been part of since its early inception. I think probably most of you know, we have the first two buildings. We call it the North and South building down there. The South building is privately owned by a local resident, Dragon Wheel Investment. So it's a private firm. The North building is the one that the city built. And that is the Simply Organic Cafe and event centers there. Things are going well there, even though it's a lot. I was telling earlier, it's a lot for our small staff to manage and just kind of work through that, but it's going okay. I will point out in the North building, we do have two private companies there. We have Colvin Ranch Provisions, which is a small store that they sell their beef that's produced here, and they also have a lot of smaller. They carry products from other smaller groups that do hot bakes, hot sauce. It's right next door. They make hot sauces there, and several other companies that are local. So very proud of that start to the Ag Park there. But I will tell you, we're getting very close to getting started on the meat processing facility. It's been a long process to get that going. We're going to be doing some land clearing first. We have quite a bit of gravel and dirt that's out there from the other project, and we're going to do some initial grading as a city. We have a grant that we need to use up, so we're going to get the property leveled and ready. The Colemans seem very close to having all their pieces together to get moving on the building. From what I'm hearing, this is a $10 to $20 million project. They've looked at it. I don't want to speak for them, but they're looking at doing something beyond just meat processing out there, it seems like. So that's a huge investment for Tenino. I mean, I don't think we've had any other investment that large out there. And this is something that's nationally been nationally supported. And so that's a big deal for Tenino. And so we're looking forward to getting that started. I think they want to try to get things going by the end of next year. What I initially heard from them, they're going to try to process about 15 head of cattle a day is kind of what their capacity is to start with. I can tell you from the city's perspective, a couple of things we're thinking about is the wastewater treatment from the facility and how that's all going to work. And of course, anytime you talk about wastewater, you have to get approval from ecology and other organizations. So hopefully that's part of their plan. So hopefully we'll get that started early so we can make sure that whatever effluent we get from them is going to be compatible with our treatment plant. The other question that has come up is the use of water. It's because we have limited water rights right now. So it's another issue for us. But I think calculating kind of the national standard for how much water they use per head of cattle, we have enough to at least their initial operations. But if they start growing, we're going to have to start thinking about how we're going to, because we just can't use all our water rights for one business. We got to maintain some water rights for this normal growth of our city. So there's two issues out there for us, for me anyway, are big issues that we're going to have to make sure we keep thinking about as we move forward with this. So that's the ag park. Any questions about that? Okay, the other one, I just want to talk about your small city grants, which you've given us for several, I don't know how many years we've been getting small city grants. But we did complete the pickleball basketball court over there. That has been something in our community, especially the basketball court. I think since I've been here on the council, we always hear, we want a basketball court, we need a basketball court. So it's a combination basketball court and pickleball court. So it's basically whoever gets there first gets to use it for that intended purpose. But I've been over there a few times playing pickleball. My wife likes pickleball, and so I've gone over there and used it. So that's been a great success. We're still working on part of the other plan was to close off one of our streets down here and make kind of during the summer place for seating. And I'll come back to this, but with Oregon Trail Days, we had such a demand, and I'll talk a little bit more about Oregon Trail Days. I think we had every street in this town blocked off with events. It was a pretty amazing event this year, I have to say, Oregon Trail Days. So we haven't got that established. We got the equipment, the tables and everything, but with this, we had a huge car show that took up that whole street and even down Central Avenue. So we didn't get that established, but we're gonna get that, make that work. And we spent the money on the equipment, just didn't get it set up. So we appreciate those small city grants. They really allowed us to do so many projects and small ones that you don't typically find grants for. So we've been very happy to be able to use that money to do good things in our city. So once again, we appreciate that very much. Our park is, I tell everybody our park's kind of the central theme of we've got our pool open again this year. It's always a bit of a struggle because it costs a lot of money and we always don't get the revenue, but we've got some great partners in the city that's helped us fund that. We also this year got a sponsor from a legal team that gave us some money to help support the pool. So it's really helped us out to keep the pool operating. I think we've had good weather this year. Seems like we've got great attendance at the pool. We're now working on baseball fields. Another grant we got for over $500,000 it's so wet down in that area because all the water goes off the hill down to that low spot. So we've been able to do some fencing improvements, and now we're doing some drainage improvements for those ball fields so they're more usable for tournaments and those kind of things. Our Little League comes here for a short period of time, but we're trying to promote some tournaments to bring some people to town. So that is another big grant that we got.
Mayor Watterson, how do you get those grants? Do you have a big staff of people and consultants on board?
I tell people, I don't know how big really. We have some great people, Jessica Reeves Rush and Nancy Reddix, who's here, who's our clerk treasurer. They work magic somehow. I don't know. We get millions of dollars in grants every year. I think it's close to $2 million over the last several years, each year that we've got in grants. Other examples that we just paved I think it's a little over a mile, right out by the ag park and on the highway out there. Which I was saying, we annexed that area many years ago because of the pocket gopher and because of the pocket gopher, we never could develop it. But now that we annexed it, we're responsible for maintaining that highway stretch out there, which is about, I think, 2 miles, a mile and a half. So we got a $500,000 last year to be part of it, and another $500,000 to do that with very little match. I think our match was around 20, maybe $30,000. So for a paving project, that's quite an accomplishment to get that done. The other one we've got, that was another $500,000 grant, is our park. I think you may know, we added 60 acres that we were granted through the,
Owen Trust.
yes. Yeah, so we got that 60 acres up there, and it's planned to remain forest land, but we're putting trails that are for people to be able to bike, walk, and so that's up behind our park, and that makes our park 120 acres. And I was saying earlier that per capita, I think we probably have one of the largest parks in the nation. So it really is a gem for our community, with the pool and all that, and the playground. Someone mentioned earlier how our playground is probably one of the nicest in the area. So we have a lot to be thankful for, and a lot of it's state, federal, and grants like from you that we've been able to do these things. So we appreciate all our partners, because we couldn't do any of these things on our own, and it really makes a difference in our city. Oregon Trail Days just happened. Yes, that was very successful, had a great parade. And like I said, we have a 3-on-3 basketball tournament that takes up a big area. We had a huge car show that kind of made it difficult because we had so many streets shut down this year. But the whole Oregon Trail Days went very well. I think we had a very good attendance. Everybody I've talked to said that it was a great event for them. The vendors and everybody said it was very successful for them. So that went very well this year. And I'll just say our city overall, it's a small city, but I am so proud of what we've been able to do. And before me even, but the last couple of years that I've been here, we faced some difficulties financially. I think everybody knows, with the help of Nancy, really, we've been able to get a handle on our budget and kind of get it stabilized. It's still not going to be easy to turn things around, but we got a good plan. I think we got our feet in a good place now to move forward. And I guess one of the unfortunate things is we had to disband our police department because it was just so expensive. It's not because I don't appreciate police. It's just financially, reality was they were such a big part of our budget. We're working with the sheriff's department now. I've got some good comments. People are saying they see them in town. They see even more state patrol, they say, here now, since we switched to the sheriff's office. So even though it's a very difficult decision to make, I think it was just one we had to do. I mean, I lost so much sleep over thinking, how can we do this? How can we make this work? Keeping our police. But so anyway, we're working through that. We still need to work out some kinks with, the sheriff taking over and that. But I think it's going to be okay in the long run. So that, what else? We got some new businesses. We have a large daycare going over here for our small town. I think that's going to be a big thing for our community, that daycare. And I think a lot of the businesses in town, and I say most of our buildings are full and we have clients, so we're not having a big vacancies. So we don't see a lot of vacancies. So I'm very proud of that. And so things are going good. We got struggles, but things are going good for our small town of 2,000 people, or city. Sorry, if John was here, he correct me. For our small city, I think we're doing some good things. And our chamber, we have a representative from our chamber here. There's so much help for us, make the community thrive, and our business help support our businesses. So those are the. I don't think there's any big ones I'm missing. Anybody got anything? Yeah. Any questions and anything you're curious about?
Thank you, Mayor Watterson. I'm going to first acknowledge we have Commissioner Unsold has joined us. And Commissioner Unsold, did you have a question? Okay.
No.
Anyone on
We
the
see
line?
each other about every other day now. It seems like
We're not in committees together.
Anyone online tonight? No, our commissioners. Commissioner Henson.
Yeah, first of all, thank you. Appreciate you hosting us today. This is great. I just wanted to mention the Ag Park and acknowledge what an impressive achievement it is thus far, and how we've had conversations about the port leaning into that project and being a partner. So I just want to say it out loud on the record. I'm supportive of that and looking forward to finding ways to partner in achieving the future state of the Ag Park.
Yeah, I'll just add to that a little bit. It's a great project. It's hard for our small city with the limited staff we have I think to pay the attention that it should get as far as just developing it. And with this new lease with the Colemans, they're taking like the whole back lot of that thing. So that's a big piece of it. We have a couple pieces in front that are kind of intended for retail space versus the industrial thing. And that's where right now I think we're struggling, because what I understand from our real estate person, people just now don't want to lease land and have to come in and build a building, just because the economic situation is very difficult for somebody, a small business, to come in and lease a property and build. So we're looking at other alternatives out there. And so I don't know if the port has any contacts with anybody that may need a small space. We could look at other options besides leasing if we need to, but that is kind of the area now we need to kind of fill to finish up that space out there. Is those front facing lots that are meant for more retail type business. So any assistance or if you hear of anybody would be sent our way.
Well, it's certainly impressive what's happened thus far to attract the kind of private investment in the meat processing facility. I've heard that it will serve ranchers from probably more than a third of the counties in the state. Hundreds of farms and ranches will be serviced by that facility. And I'll just say that I was in the Tri-Cities last week for the Washington Economic Development Association conference, and in talking about the Ag Park, folks all over the state have heard about it and are impressed with the work that's happening here in the city of Tenino. So
Yeah.
And, oh, yeah, Mayor Watterson, I just want to take you up on your suggestion. My understanding is the arrangement of leasing land for a business is a very complicated one. And we do have our real estate expert here in the room, Mike Reed, who is our community and economic development director. So possibly there's room for a little bit of collaboration on that. And I want to just thank you for bringing with such candor sort of the tensions that you have to navigate in governing and in economic development. So the things I heard today were, first of all, this really visionary investment in the Tenino Ag Park, which can make a big difference for the city. And still, as a sort of economic development investment, there's some risk, there's some open space. There has to be like an appetite and hard work to make that investment fully realize its benefits for the public. And that's kind of what economic development entities do, and it's not easy. So thank you for your partnership in that. Hopefully we can help. I also heard you talk about water rights and your need to possibly in the future secure additional water rights for industrial growth. You have enough for the moment, and I think that bigger water rights conversation is one that we didn't engage in as this commission. The Swire lease, Swire has given up its option. Swire as a tenant would have been a major water user if they were bottling water. And so I think it is becoming time for us to lean in on that sort of water for industrial use. How are we shepherding this resource so that we can have industry in the county, but that it's consistent with our needs and other needs? I think is going to be an important conversation in the years to come.
One thing I didn't mention, I think is very important, what I've heard from the Colemans as far as they're talking 40 jobs to start out with out there. That's a big deal for our community, for our small community, 40 jobs. So that's again another part of this whole economic was can we get green jobs to and I'm hoping we can attract those people to live here also. I think we've got the great community that people, if they get to know it, would want to live in. So that's a big deal for our community, the jobs also. So, and I'll go back to the water rights too, just since you brought them up. one of the things that I don't know if you get involved, how much you get involved in water rights, but I think 80% of the water you draw, we put back after it's been treated as Class A water into the ground. But for some reason, we cannot, even though we're only using 20% of the water, we still can't access that with the water we put back into the ground because the flow for the water goes this way. So since we put it in down there and all the water goes, then they say that, so we can't draw any more water upstream from that. But we use, 20% of what, so it's kind of interesting thing how those water rights work. And it seems like there should be some kind of credit that the city could get for treating it to a Class A level and putting it back in the aquifer. But so far, we haven't been able to really navigate that. We've been told no so far, but maybe it's just getting the right people involved and having more conversation.
You have one more thought. I see we have a follow-up on that, Commissioner Hanson.
Yeah, not specifically to the water rights, but I just wanted to say that I think I saw that the city and the EDC received a technical assistance grant from the Department of Commerce, and they'll be receiving technical assistance from the Center for Sustainable Infrastructure. And I'm sure that anyway, congratulations on that, and hopefully there will be some creative solutions that come from that engagement on these issues.
Probably most of you know, I'm a big supporter of kind of making a circular economy and trying to reuse and redo with as much as we can with everything we do in this community. So, we got some solar projects that we're still working on the PSE project over our substation over here. So really one of my big goals is to encourage that circular economy. And that's really what I'd like to do on the ag project. So.
Thank you for hosting us today, Mayor Watterson, and congratulations that Tenino manages to have a public pool. You should be very proud of it.
Thank you.
I think it's come to my attention that we may not have adopted an agenda, although we've done a really good job moving through it. So I'd like to go back to item C and ask if we have a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
Mr. Hanson has moved and Mr. Unseld has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Okay, 5 ayes, no opposed. We now have an agenda and we can jump back to item H, consent calendar. We have 7 items on today's consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Okay, Commissioner Hanson has motioned. Commissioner Unseld has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Oh, no opposed. 5 people unanimously have approved the consent calendar. With no action or action other calendar, we're going to move straight to our advisories. And I believe that Mike, you're on board to do these updates for us.
Actually, you're lucky in his last commission meeting with us. Mr. Sean Gilbertson will provide these two advisory.
Mr. Gilbertson, you're a short timer. Please give us your advisories. We're going to have hard questions for you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Happy to be here. I'm Sean Gilbertson, Director of Environmental Planning and Programs at the Port of Olympia. And I'm happy to be here in Tenino as well. So thank you for that. So I'm filling in for Alex today. I'm going to do my best to get through a couple of these topics here. They're both advisories. The first one is regarding the Port of Olympia Community Advisory Committee. And it's to talk about the new application process and some of the applications that we've received thus far as we forge ahead with kind of a new structure for the POCAC. Well, Port of Olympia Community Advisory Committee is affectionately known as the POCAC. So today's presentation, it's advisory only, no action required. I want to explain the Port of Olympia Community Advisory Committee, what it is and what it provides for the port. I want to talk about the new advisory committee resolution. I want to talk about the existing members that are seeking reappointment. And then I want to talk about some of the new applications that we've received. So the Port of Olympia Community Advisory Committee is a group of community volunteers that helps the port by providing input to the Port Commission on tasks that are usually assigned by the Commission. The Community Advisory Committee offers feedback that reflects a community perspective on port operations and projects. That's really important. It helps the commission understand community sentiment related to port affairs and the areas for which improved communication and transparency may be needed. And I wanted to point out up here on the right is a story map. It's just kind of the landing page for the Port of Olympia Bud Inlet story map that our community advisory committee initiated and completed last month. And it's a really cool storytelling tool that will be live on our website very soon. But the advisory committee put in tens and maybe hundreds of hours researching and helping provide the content for this story map. So they do real work that's very beneficial to the port and the community. So a couple of months ago, maybe 3 months ago, we passed a new Port of Olympia Community Advisory Committee resolution. And it changed the structure and the recruitment processes. And the end result is that we now have a 15-member, it's available for 15 members to join the committee. The intent was to get 3 members per district, which is challenging. Sometimes we have a heavy load of committee members from District 1, which is kind of the downtown area, and District 3, which is West Olympia. So port commissioners can now appoint members from Thurston County at large too. So the commissioners will be doing some legwork to try to recruit great volunteers to come help on the committee. We're really excited. And also in the resolution, it allowed for existing members to seek reappointment. And that's done by them just letting it be known to the commission that they're interested in retaining their seat. That's a little smaller than I hoped, but these are the existing members who have, there's 6 of them that have asked to be reappointed to the POCAC. And you can see well, I can barely see, but you can see most of the current members are from District 3, and we have 1 member from District 2 and 1 from District 1. So, you know, we really appreciate their willingness to continue on with the POCAC and look forward with them working with the new members once they're on board. So we have new applications from the community. There's 6 of them, and as you can see, a lot of them are from District 1, and there's a couple members from District 4. And following this advisory, staff will forward the application materials from all of these applicants to the commission, so you can review and get familiar with the new applicants and hopefully new members of the POCAC. So next steps, we will bring recommendations to the September 14th commission meeting for the commission's consideration, and we'll structure it in a way where you can approve the reappointment of the existing members and approve the assignment for the new members as well. And I'm happy to try to answer any questions I can for you.
Commissioner Hanson.
Yeah, I thank you for that briefing and appreciate the staff work on this. I've expressed that I feel like we don't need a lot more staff work. I think this is on us as commissioners. So in an effort to lead by example, I'd like to make a motion that I appoint Ed Humble and Rose Gunderson of the newly applied folks, and that I reappoint Deb Patton as my at-large commissioner or POCAC appointee. And I'll move to approve them right now.
The chair would ask for a no vote on this motion, just temporarily holding it in abeyance, so that we can, as a group, discuss for a second some procedures given kind of the names on the list. So we have a motion on the table. I've asked if we can slow the roll a tiny bit, and any other comments on the motion that's on the table? Oh, do we have a second for Commissioner Hanson's motion? Thank you, but Commissioner Hanson will come right back to that. So back to questions. Sean, could you go back 2 slides? And I will come back. One more slide. So, and this feeds into your motion, Commissioner Hanson. What we see is that our current members, for whom we are very grateful and have done some incredible work. Last week, we got to see the story map. Next week, we get to celebrate some of them with a little party. We see that of those current members, 4 of them are in District 3. And Commissioner Hanson, I think I was hearing that you've been doing the thinking through how this will work. District 3 is, my understanding, is Commissioner Unsold's district. And it's pretty important to us that we made a commitment as a team, as commissioners, that we do intend to reappoint all the current POCAC members who are willing to serve out their terms. So given that, CROG cannot possibly take all of the Commission 3 spots. And in fact, our other goal, which is not something we made a commitment to in resolution, was that each of us would be able to at least select somebody for the POCAC. And so with that, my request would be that we have a conversation about 3 other people using at least one of their spots to appoint someone who's currently in District 3. And I think those 3 other people would be not me, because I'm District 1, the other district that has a lot of interest and a current person. So with that, Joel and Commissioner Hanson, we were trying to solve this problem with your proposal, but I'd like to invite conversation from our commissioners online about comfort with making sure that we have a home for these 4 current commissioners from District 3.
So both Toompas and Montana have their hands raised.
Well, who's better?
Would you like to list?
Commissioner Toompas, you're not better, but I do want to call on you.
All right, thank you. So yeah, I appreciate Commissioner Hanson the jumping on board on this, and I think it's been a long time coming, so I think we're all impatient. I guess my question to Sean is, staff is going to make recommendations next month, and I was wondering if we had additional people apply from now until that advisory, whether that could be included and considered for a staff recommendation, even though it's late.
I don't know that that's been contemplated. I think it was the application here was open for a set period of time. But I certainly don't have a problem with it. I think that'd be more of a question for our sit-in executive director.
Commissioner Unseld, I see your hand is up.
That issue was brought up at a work session, and the executive director did say that that was certainly very viable, and that we should probably consider it since we don't have enough applicants to fill the 15 spots.
My understanding as well is that we were holding applications open. So is there any commissioner who objects to that, or any legal or procedural objection that our executive director or council would like to raise?
Can you repeat that one more time?
No worries. Our understanding was that we had spoken about there being no issue with holding the applications open, since there are still some districts that haven't received applicants. What Commissioner Toompas was asking, is that a viable option? And so we're asking, is there any barrier to us just considering the applications as still open?
I think you can do that. And Mike, you're also nodding your head.
Yeah, I don't think there's any issue with reopening the application period for a period of time. And I don't think that actually takes any sort of formal commission action. That's just sort of a directed guidance that you want to continue to see more applications. I do want to point out, Megan just sort of referenced as well, because this is a special meeting and we're not in our normal location, we cannot actually take action on things that were not on the agenda. So an introduction of a new motion for something that we did not place on the agenda could be difficult for us to do tonight. So I love the initiative sort of seeing, hey, let's try to move things forward, but I don't think that that's that's an option. So if it was listed as an advisory, we would have to treat it as an advisory tonight.
Okay, without the formal motion, then in my last conversation with Executive Director Smith, my understanding was she intended to hold those applications open. So if folks, we can't have, this is not my direction, but that's my understanding of the intent. If anyone has objections to that, who's a current seated commissioner, please communicate with Mike Reed about that. And otherwise, I think we should assume that that's what's going to happen.
Commissioner Montano, head of Ambrose.
Commissioner Montano, sorry, please, let's turn to you.
No problem at all. That was basically my comment. That was my discussion with Director Smith. Since I didn't have anyone apply for my district, I would like to keep applications open and try to keep recruiting someone from District 5. That's all.
Terrific.
Direction received.
Okay, not a motion, but direction received in public. Okay, with that, then we will not be entertaining a further motion, but Commissioner Hanson is urging us all to do our homework, have our ducks in a row. I'm adding, please look at the great list of District 3 commissioners that were in this advisory, and we can all fight over them. But please plan to have one of them as a senior advisor to any new people that we invite. Commissioner Hanson.
Yeah, and just reading from the resolution that we passed, each commissioner shall nominate 3 candidates for POCAP membership, 1 from within his or her district and 2 at-large candidates from within Thurston County. The commission as a whole shall vote on the full slate of nominations at a public meeting. And for the first selection period following adoption of the resolution, each commissioner shall use 1 of their at-large nominations to nominate a current member of the POCAC who has chosen to submit his or her name for consideration. I think it's pretty clear. It's in our hands now. I would prefer that the staff not spend any more of their valuable time on this. I think we just need to get it done. Okay.
So with that, an agenda setting will be, when we come back for action, we'll have time to sort this out together and in public, and we'll have a VOCAC installed. Any other questions online for Sean on that issue? Okay, then let's go to grant contract. It's a general sort of subject then.
It is.
Perfect. Okay, hello again, commissioners. Again, Sean Robertson, Director of Environmental Planning and Programs, filling in for Alex Smith tonight. And this is an advisory again for contract for grant assistance. So again, today's presentation is advisory only, no action required. We're going to talk about the need for this contract and the objectives of the contract. We'll talk about the request for proposals that was sent out. I'll talk about the company that was selected and then the next steps. So what the board is looking for is a company and an entity to help us basically seek grants out, apply for grants, help administer the grants, and do so in a way that looks after long-term funding strategies and opportunities, particularly for capital improvements. So the request for proposal was put out a couple months ago. We received 15 responses to the request for proposals. We received responses from across the nation and Canada. It was a really good batch of proposals that we received. The responses were all evaluated by a team of 4 board staff, and the winning proposal was selected based on qualifications, experience with grant writing, references, and the cost of their proposal. The group that was selected is the Beckett Group. The Beckett Group is well known in Olympia and in Washington. They are a Washington company. They're operated by Bruce and Jeannie Beckett. And Jeannie has 24 years of leadership experience in the Port of Tacoma, as well as a host of other experience of consulting and working on grants. Bruce has been a state lobbyist for many years and represented many ports in their endeavors and helping to secure funding as well. Both have helped ports secure millions of dollars in funding. So staff did consider in-house grant support, whether we should hire staffing to support our grant efforts. And though they're very important, the intermittent nature of grant opportunities and administration of these grants doesn't align with staffing a full-time position for this. So the staff recommends we move forward with this contract, and the terms would be a 2-year contract with 3 one-year options. And the not to exceed amount over the contract term would be $250,000. I think it's important to note that although $250,000 is the not to exceed amount, the money will only be expended based on individual task orders. So when there's a certain activity or grant we want them to help us go after, or funding strategy analysis, then we would assign that to them through task order, and it would be paid for per task order. So it's not unlike the $250,000 to spend freely. It'll be staff directed. And next steps for this is our plan to return to the commission for action on September 15th. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to try to answer the questions I can.
Are there any questions online? Anyone in the room? Well, to our new commissioners, you weren't here when the infrastructure dollars were flowing and we were trying to figure out how we could access them. I think the good thing about this contract and having it teed up is without spending unnecessary resources, we'll have someone on board to help us think strategically about what to pursue next time those taps turn on. So thank you very much for that work.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Well, with that, we're ready to move forward to commissioner reports, and I will start with Commissioner Hanson.
Just one thing to report, that I attended the Washington Economic Development Association conference in the Tri-Cities last week, made some good connections, heard some information about what other ports and communities around the state are doing to advance economic development, and I think it was time well spent.
Terrific. Do we have Commissioner Montano ready?
Yes, so for my commissioner report, I attended the Lacey Chamber this last week. The discussion there was really focused on housing and what's needed in the area. I noted a shift there from talking about affordability, where you can afford it with a third of the income, and to attainability, where they're not necessarily meeting the affordability standards at this time, but the housing is attainable. I thought that was quite interesting. And again, I know we've all heard it, but all types of housing are needed immediately for the influx of people moving here. And then lastly, I just wanted to invite you all to an event that Experience Olympia and Beyond has made me aware of. It's this Friday. It is Fox 13 Zip Trip. They're bringing their popular segment here to Olympia this Friday. So it's in the morning from 10 to 11 here at Percival Landing Park.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all I have.
All right, Commissioner Tumbas.
Yeah, I don't have much to report this week, so I just want to say thank you to the city of Tenino and Mayor Watterson for hosting the meeting today. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it in person. I just think it's so important that the port continues to show up throughout our county and make sure that we collaborate in every corner. We've had a great relationship, and I would just love to continue to explore new opportunities beyond the Small Cities Grant to help create more family wage jobs in the area. And I'm just very thankful that our current commission has decided to look for opportunities in South County, and it's one of the commission's top priorities in our new action plan. I'm also thankful to Commissioner Hanson. He's a great advocate for the district, and I just see good things. So thanks again for hosting us, and I know we'll continue to strengthen our relationship with Tenino, its citizens, and all the surrounding areas.
Thank you, Commissioner Tumbas. Commissioner Unsold.
One of the things that I've done in the last couple of weeks was, I think I was invited to it because I'm a port commissioner, but I went as an individual, and that was to the food bank fundraising dinner. And it was pretty amazing because when you think of the food bank, you think of a establishment where people come and get a few cans of food to tide them over. But the Olympia Food Bank is doing a whole lot more than that. During COVID, they started delivering meals to seniors because of the loss of federal personnel and funding for that. And so I was really excited at the work that's being done and ways that that I can help. And I'll certainly look for ways that the board can also collaborate on that. The other thing, of course, is the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, and we're moving ahead, considering all of the options that Mayor Watterson and I are both on that committee together. And so, so there is, we're really trying to get a handle on ways to increase the recycling and waste collection efforts, the way that waste is being collected, to try to limit as much as is going into landfills as possible. So that's exciting.
Thank you. And I don't have any formal committee assignment meetings to report on from the last week. I did have a chance in my capacity as a report commissioner to meet with Alan Hardcastle, who's on the board of trustees of the South Sound YMCA. And he brought up their executive director for advancement, Sarah Clinton. And they've just been reaching out to different people in the local government jurisdictions so that they could share kind of what they're working on. They are moving closer towards action on a facility in Lacey specifically that would involve a swimming pool as well as like some tournament type facilities, buildings where for like basketball. I don't know how much multi-sport functionality there'll be. I don't know. So she wanted us to know that that's sort of one of the things that's more baked that they're working on. And they are trying to engage to understand how they can connect to any of the regional pool conversations, of course. So they'd be the leaders on that as major pool operators. I also had a chance to meet with Dan Stahl, who will be helping facilitate our retreat as board commissioners. We're going to have a retreat on this Wednesday. It's sort of, we have already done a 1-year strategic plan, but as we move as a commission into our 5-year strategic plan, there's really a need to refine and make sure we're on board with the long-term vision or make any changes we need to make. So that's what our focus will be on Wednesday. We'll be at SPSCC. And I'm looking forward to that conversation. And then as I alluded, that we're going to be celebrating the POCAC. Anyone who's available from the commission on next Tuesday, I don't even have time to go to Annie's, one of the local gyms in West Olympia, District 3. Okay. Well, that's it. So if there's any additional public comment at this time, no, there isn't. Any other business? Okay, maybe there can't be for all I know. Meeting announcements.
Yes, I think it was on the slide and then we just. Thank you. So August is a little bit different for the commission this month. You only have one formal work commission meeting, and it is tonight. So we will not have our second commission meeting in August. But as Commissioner Vasavana just mentioned, there is a commission retreat being held on Wednesday at the Lacey campus of SPSCC. And that will go from 9 till 3. Our commission meeting, our first commission meeting in September will be in Rochester, as we will be continuing our tour of Thurston County. There will be a commission work session on September 21st, and then September 28th will be in Bucota. Yes, there's a couple advisory committee, citizen advisory committees, Tuesday, September 15th. It's one.
Terrific. Well, with that, really big thanks to our staff who supported this meeting out here, including Missy Goodell, who's on leave, but did a lot of the groundwork, Tina and Spencer. And thank you, Mayor Morris, for hosting us. It's actually really lovely to be out here in the community. And yeah, looking forward to the meeting to come. Okay, our commission meeting is adjourned.